Are live.
Welcome, everyone, to the best sports gambling show on the planet. This is WagerTalk Today. I'm your host, Andy Lang from WagerTalk.com. Thank you for joining us on this Friday. Guys, it's the weekend. We are loaded. We got big games. We got sharp plays. We got a full slate to attack. Listen, we're going to make statements. We're going to build momentum this weekend. Now is the time to absolutely lock in. We're going to give you everything you need to crush the board this weekend. There's no time to waste. Let's get to work. Marco is going to join us. We're going to talk some baseball, Red Sox, Yankees, Cubs, and Tigers. I see a comment already in the comment section. Happy Scuba Day, everybody. Happy Scuba Day to you too, sir. We're also going to talk Belmont as well. Teddy covers. No better person to join us after that miracle Pacers and Thunder game last night than Teddy to talk about game 2. We're going to talk a little opening line report and the season win report, get some NFL gems from him. And then Andrew Babakitis is going to join us. It's a big UFC weekend with UFC 316. And then we have the most intricate and detailed all around the world segment that you guys have ever seen. We've got many sports to go over. This one's going to be a classic. So let's get started. You guys know what to do. Hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I don't know what you're waiting for. 205,000 people have already subscribed to the channel. If you haven't, do that right now. Let's bring in Marco here and let's talk some MLB and then we'll talk Belmont here. Marco, congratulations, man. You've been on a nice little run here. Well, not little run. You've been seeing the board really well, and it's Belmont, so I know you're in a great mood. How are you today?
Yeah, and you know what? Seeing things clearly right now, Andy. I couldn't be. I got to say it. I highly recommend if your doctor suggests you need cataract surgery, get it done because I had it done 2 weeks ago and we've been on one hell of a run ever since. So I am truly seeing things clearly right now, Andy. This has been probably one of my best runs of my 46-year career. And no pun, I actually did have surgery. It's not just a joke. But I got to ask you, Andy. What in the Haliburton happened last night? You being a Pacers fan.
I was watching with my buddy in the third quarter, and we were like, well, this is over. And I wake up this morning, and I still can't explain it. There was a banked-in three. There were air balls that fell into the lap of Pacers that were out of position. That was the other funny thing is like a couple of the putbacks were guys that were completely out of position. It was a miracle. It's just like there's something around this team that is just magical, and sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Sometimes it's better just to have. I don't know what we did to the NBA gods, but the Pacers are on a run that I will never forget. Who knows if they can close it out? OKC's got to be kicking themselves. I'm terrified of what they're going to do to us in game 2 because the fact is they didn't play very good. And honestly, neither did we, but I feel like there's an ass whooping coming in game 2. But we're going to enjoy this one as Pacers fans for sure.
It was definitely fun. I was in a sports book, and it just, when you have games like that and, everybody's in awe and, you have half the sports book excited, half the sports book throwing stuff around. It is nothing better than that. So I can't wait for game 2, but we've got a lot of action going tonight, baseball action. I got a couple games for you. We got Belmont, as you said, and I'm lined up for a big hockey play tonight too. So I'm excited about Friday.
Well, we're going to get into baseball, but I will tell you, this is how insane the ending was. So my phone, just goes ballistic. Normally when there's a, thing like that, it's like, yay, whoa, amazing. No, my phone was like, WTF. Or what was that? Or how did we do that? Like, it was just shock and awe. But we're gonna ride the wave of momentum here. So, all right, let's get into MLB here. Let's talk Red Sox, Yankees. Of course, amazing rivalry here. How do you see this game going down here between the Red Sox and Yankees?
Well, when you look at this one, you're going to look at Will Warren for the Yankees, and he's coming off his worst outing of the year. He got tagged for 7 runs in just an inning in the third. But if you look at the whole body of work for the season, he's had 13 starts, Andy. He's allowed 2 runs or less in 9 of the 13 starts. Walker Buehler goes for Boston. 6 of his 9 starts have been 3 runs or less. And in 2 of the 3 that he allowed more than 3 runs, it was against National League teams. And I point that out because, he pitched his whole career in the National League and then switched over to the American League this year. So he's having more success, obviously, with the teams that aren't as familiar with him. And going back to Will Warren, I like pitchers whenever they have, one of those just absolutely horrid starts. Generally, you're going to get their best effort in the next one. They're going to be totally, have that, mad dog mentality, bulldog mentality, to go out there to pitch a good game. So I'm going to do the opposite of what probably most people are going to look at this game and want to do. They're going to want to take the over. You're going to look at Boston. You're going to look at the Yankees and the Bronx Bombers and all of that, and you're going to want to go over. Not me. I'm taking the under. And I got a stat for you, Andy. I always love to bring a stat along with me. The Yankees versus American League teams that have a batting average of 255 or worse this season, 25 times they've gone under 20 of the 25 games. And then in night games this year, Yankees, 22 of 32 have gone under the total. Surprisingly, when you think about that Yankee lineup, give me under 9 tonight in the Yankee-Boston game.
Great breakdown. We're going to move to the Cubs and the Tigers again. Happy Scooble Day, everybody, as we said in the chat section. To me, the interesting pitcher is Brown here for the Cubs. Talk about all or nothing. This guy has games where he's gone like 5 or 6 innings, no runs allowed, and then a few innings and 8 runs allowed. So I'm interested in your take here. Detroit, obviously the big favorite, one of the hottest teams in baseball since the beginning of the season. How do you break this game down?
Well, sometimes it's just, right there in front of you. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that's going to be the situation here. We talk about Ben Brown and his problems. Now, I just got done saying I like a guy to bounce back in the last game. Well, Ben Brown has had back-to-back bad starts. So that kind of changes things whenever you throw 2 of them. His last 2 starts, he's gotten shelled for 8 runs to the Reds and 6 runs to Miami. Those are 2 lineups that aren't exactly murderer's row. And I couldn't get out of the 5th inning in either of those starts. I'm going to look to fade him, and I'm also going to look to ride the money train. Screwball has just been absolutely amazing this season. I'm not stepping in front of him. His last 2 starts doesn't get any better than this, guys. 16 scoreless innings for him. And I'm a big proponent of the strikeout to walk ratio because that is, to me, the best indicator that you've got absolute full command of all of your pitches. How about 20 strikeouts and no walks in those 2 starts? Then you want to do some scheduling dynamics. Detroit has a travel advantage in this game. Both teams played yesterday, but the difference is Detroit played a day game in Chicago. Now they had a short trip back to Detroit. Whereas you had the Cubs, they had to travel back from their game yesterday in Washington, and it was a night game. So advantage to Detroit there. You got their ace, who nobody can touch. You're playing a team that's got a bad travel spot. What am I going to do here? I'm going to go with Scooble and take him 20-8 at home. But you know what? Let's just, even though he goes deep into the game, let's take the bullpen out of the equation because I think we're going to see a guy get hit, Ben Brown, early, and I don't expect them to get to Scooble. Let's go first 5 innings. Let's lay the half a run and bring this to a price that's reasonable. First 5 innings minus a half a run with Detroit.
Marco, when you were on last, we talked, I believe it was whatever the last horse race was that you broke down. My
Preakness.
favorite Preakness, that's right. My favorite comment in the comment section was somebody was like, I just learned more about horse racing in the last 5 minutes than I have my entire life. So it's a joy to listen to you talk about horse racing. So give us a little bit about the Belmont. I know you have tons of videos that are up with much more detailed breakdowns. So tell us about some of the videos that people have that we have up at YouTube on the WagerTalk YouTube channel, and just give us a little overall about the Belmont, and then we're going to talk an exotic prop.
Well, there's two videos that I will promote for you. We did one last week before the post position draw, 5 horses to watch in the Kentucky Derby. I break down the 5 contenders in the race in detail. You can check that out. But the one show that you do want to check out is the Pony Pundit Show. That was done on Wednesday after the post position draw. Myself, Kelly in Vegas, Sean Alvarez, we break the race down in detail. We talk about all 8 horses. Sean gives you his top 4 horses. I give you my top 4 horses, and break it down to make some money. I'm excited about this race. Even though we don't have a Triple Crown, we've got something going in this race that we haven't had in a long time. You've got the Kentucky Derby winner and the Preakness winner squaring off in a rubber match here for race number 3. And you know what? We could have 3 different winners, because I'm going to give you a little bit of a longer price. He's not going to be a real long price, but he's the 3rd favorite in the race, and I'm going to tell you not to overlook him. And that is the number 6 horse, Baeza. This is a horse that I was very high on going in to the Santa Anita Derby. He finished 2nd to Journalism, had just enough points that had him on the outside of the Kentucky Derby looking in. They take the top 20 point getters. He was 21. He was also eligible. He needed somebody to scratch to get into the Kentucky Derby. And all that week, I told anybody, any video, any radio show I was on, watch if this horse gets in the Kentucky Derby, he's going to be a factor. He finished 3rd in the Kentucky Derby. He did get in, and he was the horse that was flying at the end. He went the fastest last 16th of a mile in the Kentucky Derby, had road trouble. He is only 5 career starts, which means he still has a license to improve. And what I like about it, one of the big metrics for horse racing is the buyer speed figures. In every race that he's run, he's gone a faster buyer speed figure than his previous race, telling you and confirming what I just said. This horse hasn't peaked. He raced in the Derby, skipped the Preakness, especially for this race. I think he's a major factor. Use him in your exactas 1st and 2nd. That's the way to try to get a price to make money in this race, is to move away from one of the 2 favorites, which obviously is Sovereignty, the Kentucky Derby winner, and Journalism, the Preakness winner.
You've got a promo code Belmont10, Belmont, gets $10 off all of your plays on Saturdays. Tell everyone what we can expect in that pack for Saturday.
You know, guys, what you're going to get, obviously, is my Belmont selections, exactly how I'm betting it. I give you my sheet so you can just read it right off your phone, go to the betting window, and if you know nothing about horse racing, doesn't matter. You just follow the game plan. It's like reading a recipe, cooking in the kitchen. I'll also have some other races on the Saturday card at Belmont, and you're going to get every sports play that I have on Saturday in all the sports, whatever I release. And as you said at the beginning of the show, Andy, I have been hot. Last 7 days, 13-1. Last 14 days, 23-6. And if you like just to zero in on big plays, my 4% and 5% best bets are on an 18-5 run. And I do have a 4% play going tonight. You can get on this hot streak, guys. Take advantage tomorrow. Belmont 10 will save you $10 off that package on Saturday. Head on over to WagerTalk.com and go to my homepage to check things out.
All right, Marco, before I let you go, I had to chuckle. So we've been working hard on our thumbnails at Wager Talk because the YouTube analytics tell us the better the thumbnail, the more looks we get. I see in our Slack, Kelly says a message says, I bet this horse racing video will do better than the last one because of the thumbnail. And I see you making this amazing funny face. And I was laughing. I was like, I wonder if Marco ever thought he would be doing this for like, how did that happen? And what's the process of you taking pictures of yourself making those faces?
Well, actually, that was our social media guy, John Hogler. We did those at the Westgate, actually. And you laugh, Andy, but I'm going to tell you what if this run continues, the next thumbnail you're going to see is me in the goofy cataract sunglasses that they gave me that I have to drive with in the sun for 3 weeks. Okay, I am going with that, and it's just going to be the caption. I am seeing everything very clearly right now. I'm sorry.
Seeing the board well. Oh, it was great. And by the way, that video is doing amazing. It's got like 1 million views on it. Not 1 million, but you know what I mean. So it was great fun, Marco. And congratulations on your one. 13-1 the last 7 days is truly amazing. So I hope you keep seeing the board well. And don't forget to use that promo code Belmont10. Get Marco's plays on Saturday. It's a great run, and nobody does it better in horse racing. So thank you, Marco. Good luck, and hope the run continues.
Good luck to everybody this weekend.
Marco D'Angelo, everybody, listen, hit the like button. Give us some likes for a horse racing breakdown video. There's not many people that can do it better than Marco. He lives this business. He's been in horse racing his entire life, owns horses, so it's really good inside information from him. So, all right, Dan, let's take a trip all around the world. We have got a ton of sports here, guys. We're going to go baseball, darts, NASCAR, UFC, and lacrosse. No time to waste. Let's get into it. Ralph Michaels has Dodgers and Cardinals. YRFI. Yes, there will be a run in the first inning. Dodgers 7-1 last 8 games. Cardinals 5-0 YRFI run the last 5 home games. So Ralph Michaels, this is available on the Wager Talk free picks page. Dodgers and Cardinals, there will be a run in the first inning. I'm going to darts. This is the Nordic Darts Masters. This should be available on all your sports books. We're going to take Nathan Aspinall, the match treble. This is under match props. Just go to match treble. That means he's going to win. He's going to have the most 180s, and he's going to have the highest checkout. It's plus 100. This is where the top guys in the world play guys that are really bad. Aspinall is the number 6 player in the world. The guy he's playing today is number 92. The difference between the 6 best darts player in the world and 92 is like Ohio State playing the Wager Talk intramural flag football team. It's a massive, massive difference. So Nathan Aspinall and some of these big name guys should roll. So take Aspinall match treble plus 100. We're moving to NASCAR. They're at Michigan this week. Ryan Blaney minus 125 over Christopher Bell. This is a Ford track. Blaney's been one of the fastest cars all year, and they're racing at Michigan. Blaney's average finish here was the last 3 races is 10.7. Bell has been atrocious, 24.7. Blaney's coming off of a nice win last week. We're going to UFC. If you got DraftKings, do a same-game parlay with Joe Pyfer to win and over 1.5 rounds. He's fighting Kelvin Gastelum. Gastelum, tough as nails, never been knocked out. Pfeiffer's had cardio issues in the past. He's going to bide his time early. Huge height and reach advantage for Pfeiffer. I think he's going to take it easy in the first round, work the jab, make sure he's got cardio left in the third. So UFC same game parlay, Joe Pfeiffer to win and over 1.5 rounds. Now we bring in Dan, the best lacrosse handicapper around, and we're lucky enough to have him. So Dan, we got PLL. It starts today. We've got games across the weekend. What's a play you're looking to dial in on?
Well, first things first, Andy, this is all around the world. Andy has just given out a YRFI from Ralph Michaels that have been cooking, a NASCAR play, a UFC play, and a darts play. Like button and subscribe, folks. I mean, we will stop the show and not continue until you hit that like button. So I'm going to pause real quick. All right, you've hit the like button. Here we go, Andy. Full disclosure, out of the gate, it was a little bit rough in PLL, but that kind of happens week 1. Either you see it really well or, you need a little bit more data to draw on. I think something very exciting happening tonight is the return of Jared Bernhardt to lacrosse. So I'll break this down. You see those memes when somebody, you see a situation online and someone will comment like, explain to me this in football terms. So I will start with football terms for people so we can all understand. Jared Bernhardt is a former Tewarton Trophy winner. Tewarton Trophy equals Heisman in football. So this situation is like, let's say, Devontae Smith. He wins the Heisman, and he says, I don't really want to play football. I think I'm going to go and play baseball. I'll play in the MLB for a couple of years. And he tries. He doesn't really break through on any rosters. And Devontae Smith says, I should probably go back to the sport that I was named the best player in the country for, right? That's what we're seeing with Jared Bernhardt. Instead of going to the PLL, he went and tried his hand in the NFL because he was a football player. He was a wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons, never really gleaned much playing time. So now he's coming back to the PLL. A lot of folks are pontificating, saying, I think there's going to be too much rust for this guy. He hasn't played lacrosse in so long. Folks, I see dudes who play in men's league who haven't played in years, and they'll dominate it. And honestly, for PLL, it's great. It's great action, but it is like a next level summer league for a lot of these guys. I think Jared Bernhardt's going to be making a splash. So Denver versus Carolina. It's on ESPN Plus tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Take Jared Bernhardt to score in the first quarter. First quarter goal scorer, plus 165. I got it plus 182. So other people are kind of agreeing, hey, Jared Bernhardt could be a play here out of the gate. I think he makes a splash, man. Also, 2 midfielders for Denver are banged up. This guy is also joining a roster, Andy, that has 3 other Wharton, a.k.a. Lacrosse Heisman winners on it. This isn't going to take long for him to get acclimated, and I think he gets acclimated in the first quarter. It's some nice plus money. Jared Bernhardt, first quarter, anytime goal scorer, plus 165 to play for me.
I love it. Destrata just wanted me to give a golf insight. Yeah, he tees off in 25 minutes. Take a look at Nick Taylor, under 68.5 on his second round score. He was really good yesterday, shot -4. Conditions, I've been watching this morning. Conditions are pretty easy. Afternoon guys should have a good go of it. That's only -2. He played well. He hit a lot of fairways, and he's a defending champion. He's from Canada. This is a Canadian Open. He's motivated to play well. So Nick Taylor, under 68.5. Did not make the client card, but if you need golf action, maybe just a little bit of sprinkle on there. So, all right. Around the World is complete. Thank you so much. Now we got to bring in Teddy Covers, and we got to talk a little bit about what happened last night, Teddy. Oh, my gosh. As a Pacers fan, I'm still shell-shocked, man. What were you thinking watching that game?
I was enjoying it because my clients and I had Indiana plus the points.
Absolutely. Yes.
But, I mean, honestly, I don't talk a lot about my experience in Vegas. Having been here, it's 28 years in Las Vegas. I moved here in 1998. So this is my 28th season of all seasons in Vegas. But one thing that 28 years in Vegas does when it comes for the NBA Finals, it gives you comps. It gives you ideas about, okay, this was a series I remember. That was a series I remember. And there's 2 comps for this series that no one's talking about. So I'm going to talk about them today.
By all means, you have my full attention. Yeah, what are the comps?
So first of all, looking at the odds logic live odds screen for Game 2, Oklahoma City 10.5, 11 point favorites for Game 2. Total 227.5, 228, down a little bit from Game 1, and of course the point spread higher than it was in Game 1. So OKC as the wise guy choice, no surprise that they've taken money. The 2 comps that this series reminds me of, I started going through past NBA Finals and thinking about it. The first is the Detroit Pistons in 2004 against the Lakers. The Lakers had the rings. The Pistons were a team, yes, they had superstars, but they were a team that was deep, whereas the Lakers had all the star power. And from Game 1 of that series, it was a mispriced series. The Lakers were -8 Game 1. They were even higher in Game 2. And because of the Lakers' MO and because the Pistons hadn't been there before, there was a ton of LA support, et cetera, et cetera. And, of course, the Pistons won that series in 5 games. They were priced wrong from the get-go. And if you play Detroit in that series, it's nothing but cash tickets. The second series that this finals reminds me of is when the Golden State Warriors won their first title in 2015, I believe it was. And the Warriors, like OKC, young, hungry, extraordinarily talented, pretty relatively easy run to the finals in a lot of sense. And when the finals rolled around, hey, this Warriors team, they're young, they're coming up. They go, Cleveland is the Cavs, is LeBron, and who else? And there was a big price tag attached to Golden State in that series. First couple games, Well, they lost one. They won another one in overtime. It wasn't an easy go for a young team that hadn't won a title before. So the two things that stood out to me here were Indiana's not priced right. You know, there's not a set of power ratings that factors in the postseason that's going to have Oklahoma City 11 points better than Indiana. It's not. The price is wrong. And the other factor is that this OKC team with this amazing statistical profile and all kinds of talent, that first championship is not a done deal. It's not a gimme. You know, it's hard. And OKC certainly found that out last night.
Yeah, they made a lot of big mistakes, and I don't know. There was the cover was a great call. The outright win was there's a Miles Turner banked three. There's air balls for putbacks that just fall into Siakam's lap. But listen, it's finals. You know, you got to get the bounces to go your way. At MSG, you got to get Haliburton to shoot the ball, bounce a mile off the rim, and then miraculously come down right through. So yeah, there was that. I still can't believe they did that. So. It's interesting that we see the spread move up, even though the Pacers took game one. So what do you do with this line movement, and how do you break down game two?
So, I mean, Indiana has done this multiple times this postseason. You know, they were down 15 in the fourth quarter again and came back to win. And again, you look at these win probabilities, they're garbage. Don't be fooled by anyone's algorithm about the win probabilities. ESPN's might be the worst of them all. But in-game money line on the Pacers was as high as plus 1,500 last night. And obviously, they took the first lead of the game with 0.3 seconds left. But that's 5 times this postseason they come back from 15 or more down. All right. Now, we saw a really bad first half from Indiana in that game. All right. Would they have, I think, 18 turnovers at halftime, maybe more? It felt like an endless barrage of turnovers from the Pacers. After halftime, they protected the basketball, and they shot a whole lot better. 66 points in the second half, 10 of 20 from three-point range was a little bit high. Meanwhile, OKC, you know, they've just been punched. You read some of these quotes. And the good news for the Thunder is that they've been in this spot before. All right. They were in this spot in game one against the Denver Nuggets. They had a lead, and they let it get away right at the end. And that was the game where Aaron Gordon hit that three to win for Denver. And the quotes, you know, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, how you lose doesn't really matter. Obviously, it sucks, last second shot, the energy in the arena, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we lost game one. We've lost game one before. On the other side of that, we came out a better team. That's our goal. Jalen Williams. Well, it sucks, but we've been here before. You know, our head coach, Mark Daigneault. Go to the playoffs, take it to the limit. They put your back against the wall in games and series. If you make it this far, you have to endure to do that. It gives you rich experience you can draw on. The big experience we've had in understanding that every game's a new game. The most important game in the series is always the next one, regardless of the outcome. Would have liked to win tonight, but tonight was a starting point, not an end point. Those are positive quotes. I agree with everything that the Thunder stars and their coach are saying. And I'm well aware that Indiana is, quote unquote, the square side in this series. I don't care who the sharps like or who the squares like, right? The sharps are still betting season-long statistical profiles. The squares watch the postseason games, and they see that Indiana's better than their regular season stats, and they see that 11.5 in this series is just the wrong range for the Pacers. So there are times, October NFL is a classic example. We saw it again last year, where the wise guys are still betting what teams are supposed to be, and the Joes are betting what they've seen, which is this team's actually good and they were supposed to be bad, and this team's actually bad but they're supposed to be good. And every October, many Octobers, the Joes beat the pros in the NFL. This might well be that. I have no problems being on the square side. 11.5 is too high, especially given the track record for the Pacers. All right, look what Indiana's done this post. They went 3-0 in 3 previous games, ones, and then won again yesterday. Game 2's off a game 1 win. Oh, they're 3-0 straight up and 3-0 against the spread. 7-1 straight up their last 8 road games. Underdogs every time. Rick Carlisle's got a ring. Pascal Siakam's got a ring. Ain't nobody on OKC's got a ring. That matters. I think it's too many points. So you know which way I'm leaning. I haven't posted it yet, but I'm certainly leaning in that direction early on today, and I expect to have to solidify my thoughts and have something posted for this game by tomorrow.
Love it. Teddy covers everyone. Go ahead and hit the like button if you're enjoying what you're seeing here. We've got NHL breakdown coming up. We got Andrew Babakitis to talk some UFC coming up a little bit later. But Teddy, listen, we're already talking football. You've got opening line report, season win report. Dan and I have been breaking down some season win totals. Tell us, first off, tell everyone about opening line report, what content has been posted so far for that show.
So we just had an overview. We went through all the teams of kind of coaching changes, coordinator changes, off-season moves. We talked about exactly what really happened last year. And for me to start, the starting point has to be what happened last year, because that's where teams are lined against when it comes to their record a year ago. And that's where that's the beginning point. So if you say this team overachieved last year, underachieved last year, what's a truer result for them than their actual one-loss record? That'll give you an edge at a starting point. Starting this week, and again, the opening line report live every Monday, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. We're going earlier than we were. And of course, it's always archived on YouTube, on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. I encourage you, if you haven't seen the episode that we put out Monday, watch it today. It's still good. Again, you can search opening line report. Just look at the WagerTalk on the YouTube page. But Monday, 8 a.m., we start breaking down divisions. We're going to go through team by team, all 32 teams over the next 4 weeks, gearing up for the season win report release on July 2nd. So this coming Monday, we're going to do the AFC East and the NFC East, the two Easts. 8 teams, break them down, talk about what happened last year, off-season moves, this year's win totals. Do we like them? Do we not like them? This is my prep. I'm sharing it all with you guys. So check it out. And again, Monday, 8 a.m. If you can't make it live, be sure to watch the replay.
I got 2 questions here for you, Teddy. First one comes from Scott C. For football, Marco says after tough losses, the teams tend to lose the same game twice. Do you think this applies in a multi-game playoff series in basketball, or is that just kind of a one-off? It doesn't really matter for you.
Sometimes. The answer is sometimes.
Fair.
And it's a case. I don't think OKC is going to lose the same game twice, the way like the Knicks did, when the Knicks lost that game 1 and it really affected them. And again, I think the extra day between games when it comes to the finals matters a lot in that regard to help wipe away the previous contest. So it does happen sometimes. I don't think if Indiana wins game 2 or covers game 2, I don't expect it to be because OKC chokes it away.
And then was there anything when you first started NFL, was there anything that kind of jumped out, like any research? For me, I think the NFL hates the Browns because the start of their schedule is just insanely unfair and just a complete it's crazy how they start the Browns schedule. That jumped off the page for me. Was there anything that really jumped out for you? It was like, whoa, we got to keep an eye on that. So
from a scheduling standpoint, there's a ton. I mean, it's hard. I thought they were going to ask me an Aaron Rodgers question because in my mind, the lead here is Aaron Rodgers. And if you've seen what the betting markets have done over the last 24 hours since Rodgers signed in Pittsburgh, the win total hasn't moved and the odds to win the Super Bowl. Someone was like, I read an article, they were plus 4,500 to win the Super Bowl, and now it's down to plus 4,000. Huge move towards Pittsburgh. The odds haven't moved. Aaron Rodgers was already priced into being in Pittsburgh, and when he signed, the markets are like, yeah, this is still a 500 team. So the Aaron Rodgers signing for the Steelers, from a people who are paying attention to this standpoint, complete non-factor. Aaron Rodgers is the equivalent of Mason Rudolph. That's factor 1. When it comes to schedules, we did a ton of talk about the scheduling stuff on Monday. The Lions are a fascinating scenario when it comes to schedule because they have a bunch of things against them. But from a week-by-week rest edge standpoint, Detroit has the best case scenario of any team, I think, in the last 25 years. I think they have 8 different games where they've got a rest edge over their opponent. And several of them, multiple days. They face a bunch of teams coming off Monday Night Football. They face a bunch of teams coming off other short weeks. So Detroit really has a scheduling edge. And of course, you talk about the Browns being shafted. The Raiders are another team that often gets shafted when it comes to schedule-wise. And the Raiders, again, this year, lots of those early start East Coast games are a nightmare for the West Coast teams, and the Raiders have the most of them.
Teddy covers. I absolutely love the opening line report. It gets you ready for football season. So tell me what you have up for clients and what you want to promote today, Teddy.
Sure. I mean, obviously the season win report has got to be talked about. 103-52 lifetime. We won again last year. The big tickets are 17-4, counting every play every year with the win totals. And of course, that report will come out July 2nd. Don't buy it. You get it for free if you get a season package. And it's a great time to buy season packages in the summer months. So you get everything as soon as it's released. We're very serious about the preseason as well. So looking forward to both July and August. And of course, today, single best bet on MLB on my page. I've been running good. I'm up more than 50 units over the last month for my clients and I. The baseball's been good. The basketball's been good. Check out the homepage, wt.buzz/TC.
Thank you so much, Teddy. Always love a good breakdown from you in the NBA. And yeah, guys, it is not too early to start looking at season win totals in the NFL. We want to try and get the best of these numbers, and Teddy does a great job with that. And I keep telling people, don't ignore these futures, guys. Like, futures are a big part of building bankroll. They're a big part of our portfolio. Teddy does such a great job on futures. You guys could have a winning season just with Teddy's futures in NFL. So do not ignore those futures. There's way too much value to ignore. So, all right, couple things that we have up at Wager Talk. Myself personally, it's UFC weekend. Our 5% best bet is up. It's locked and loaded. We're number one in MMA profits this year in 2025. We're 8-2 in 5% best bets, and we got a 5% best bet that's up. 2 additional plays that are added onto it. One of them is a plus 154 underdog. I know that you guys love underdog plus money plays, so that is included with that. Again, number one in MMA. These are plays we bet with our own money. It's an absolute no-brainer. Make sure you grab that and get locked in for UFC 316. We have a 4% cricket play. That goes off in about an hour. I recommend grabbing that. 14-4 run in cricket. Yes, you can build your bankrolls very, very nicely with cricket. We've shown that. Also, 7-day special is available at Wager Talk. 7 days for only $77. We've been talking about this all week. It's right before the weekend. So if you want to lock in your favorite handicapper for 7 days, a 1-day pass is $39. No brainer to just lock in 7 days for $77. Use myself as an example. I've got a 5% tomorrow. Why spend $35? Spend $77 and get 7 days. Pick your favorite handicapper. Go to the Wager Talk page. Look who's running really, really hot. Look for some of the write-ups. We post all of our last 20 plays on the Yesterday's Plays tab. So if you like some of the write-ups of a handicapper, give them a try. If you have a handicapper you've had really good success with in the past, go ahead and lock that in. 7 days for $77. And over at Sports Memo, every Friday now this summer, half-price plays. So if you like a handicapper over at Sports Memo, go check it out. There's a lot of guys maybe you haven't heard of. Again, go look at some of their write-ups. Go look at some of their plays. A lot of really, really good handicappers over there. We talked with Nick Parsons yesterday. He's over there. Ray Monahan was the featured handicapper yesterday. So half-price plays on Friday over at Sports Memo. So take advantage of those. Let's do a quick NHL breakdown. Listen, I don't break down NHL games as far as sides and totals. You guys know me. I'm a prop guy. So puck time, they'll give you a better breakdown, a little bit more in detail. I talk about props here on the show. I know what I'm good at, what I'm not good at. I know what I specialize in, what I don't. So Edmonton's minus 130 here. Over under is at 6.5. Some props that I noticed in this game. I know the over 1.5 first period was a very popular play. Easily cashed. It was 2-1 at the end of one. So the over 1.5 first period is minus 140. I'll go contrarian on this one. I expect goalies and defense to be a little bit more locked in. I'd look at the under there as a contrarian play. Brad Marchand, I'd look at him over 1.5 shots on goal. He had 3 last game. That's now 4 out of the last 5 games that he's gone over 1.5 shots on goal. I look at the goalies over their saves. Those guys took a lot of shots on goal. Bobrovsky, his number is 25.5 saves. He had 42 last game. I know it was in overtime, but he went over this in regulation. I'd take his saves over. Skinner, over 24.5 saves. He had 29 saves. Again, over. I see a lot of pressure from these offensive teams. A lot of shots are getting through. And we talked about him. Jake Wallman, over 2.5 blocked shots. He had 4 last game. They've moved the line to -150. I don't care. I'm still playing it. That's 5 in a row in the playoffs. Matthew Barnaby talked about this. Defensemen sell out more to block these shots. It's a lot more intense. Now we're in the Stanley Cup final. So Jake Wallman over 2.5 blocked shots. If I had to pick a side, if I'm forced to, I'll lean Florida to get the win to tie the series up at 1-1. All right, guys, let's bring in Andrew Babakitis. We got to talk some UFC, and I believe we also have a couple questions about French Open and Soccer Nations League, so we'll get to those in a little bit. Andrew, first off, how are you, sir? How's the weekend looking for UFC 316?
Man, I'm excited for a pay-per-view card. I know the last few have been not as great, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to this card, even though it's a little bit chalky.
It's a little bit chalky. It's a lot chalky. I mean, you guys are rooting for the underdogs. I'm sure us as bettors got to figure out and navigate through these rocky waters here. So I'm going to get your take on some of the fights and ask about the handle. But I always do this when you come on. Let's do a violence parlay. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. I got 2 fights not to go the distance here. I'm going Jekka Sergey versus Ju Sang Yu. It's a Sergey fight. This guy's like swings for the fences. He either gets knocked out or he ends up, on his behind. He's horrific in the grappling. I laughed when he's like, I've been working on my grappling. It's like, oh, have you? I like this Ju Sang Yu. He's making his UFC debut. They didn't even mess with him on road to UFC. They're going, you're right into UFC. I think he gets a knockout, possibly a ground and pound. And then I'm going Sergey Spivak and Waldo Cortez Acosta. Costa's your boxer. Spivak, I love his ground game. It's really evolved. I think he's getting punished because he's lost 2 in a row, but to Jailton Almeida and to Cyril Gahn, I think Spivak gets it on the ground. I can see a ground and pound finish. So I got both not to go the distance at +107. Agree or disagree?
No, I could definitely see that, especially, I mean, the Ju Sang Yu, he's sitting at $5. You'd think he'd be able to get him out of there. And then, like you said, if Spivak is able to get it to the ground, he has a real path to get Waldo out of there. And if it stays standing, I can see Waldo getting Spivak out of there. So I really don't disagree with that take.
Okay, so the strategist in the comment says, I need a solid underdog. All right, Andrew. So if you're on the side of the books, you're looking good. So underdogs, what are some underdogs that you guys really need to make this a profitable night? Because that's going to point us in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, our job this week really is to find a balance of what favorites these guys are willing to lay these big price tags on. And, a lot of the time with these kind of cards, I'm kind of used to seeing what these guys do. They wait till these prices kind of maximize at the highest point day of the fights, and then they'll come in last minute. Some of our sharpest guys and bet the dogs at big price tags. So, yeah, I'm expecting late big action on some of these dogs. If I had to give you one, I mean, personally, this is just a personal take. This isn't sharp action. I'm definitely rooting for O'Malley. We're not going to probably be rooting for that at the book. But yeah, that's going to be an awesome fight.
Yeah, I was going to ask about the main and the co-main. What I feel like O'Malley's the big fan favorite and Merab's the boring guy that just keeps cashing tickets. So I would feel like the public is probably on O'Malley, and I'm assuming the sharps are coming in on Merab.
Yeah, I mean, I've honestly been trying to shade a little bit to the low side of the market on the Merab fight to see who's been willing to, lay that big price tag. It opened at -360. We're currently sitting -250 here in Vegas. So it's moved in that O'Malley way. I kind of expected that with the handle coming in on O'Malley. Like in the last fight, he closed the favorite. So we figured we'd get some handle on O'Malley. So we're honestly trying to see what kind of respect or big action we can get on Merab before day of, when we know that O'Malley money will be here.
Kayla Harrison and Juliana Pena, the co-main. It has been all Harrison money, at least on the books that I'm looking at. Is anybody coming in pre-fight on Pena?
I mean, we've had a couple small biters, but really there hasn't been a tremendous amount of handle on that fight, other than just a ton of liability in the parlays. I think there's 6 fights on this card that are over $5. So between those 6 fights, we're going to need one of those to, bust these parlays, or, this is not going to be the best kind of card for the book. That is for sure.
Well, I will tell you, someone like myself, I'm waiting to live bet Juliana Pena. If I'm betting Pena, I'm waiting till round 3, and if Kayla Harrison starts gassing, that's when I'm going to be betting Pena. So my guess is there's going to be a lot of live bet money on Juliana Pena if this fight gets like a little bit more into it. So any other interesting personal fights that you're interested in watching and betting on, Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really interested in the Patchy Mix fight personally.
Yes.
I'm really looking forward to that. I mean, there's been some respected money on Batista, which I kind of expected it to, Mix is the debutante. So, but just for me and for the sport, I'm rooting for Patchy Mix to come in and stir things up a little bit. I know Batista's coming off of a really not fan favorite type of fight against Jose Aldo, but that's a really fun fight to book so far. Really balanced action on both sides.
I'm excited for that one too. I think Patchy wins. I've loved him in Bellator. I think his skill set is absolutely UFC caliber. I think he's a top 10 guy in UFC automatically. So we did have a question about French Open here. Let's see, French Open finals and Soccer Nations League final. We'll go to the French Open. I just saw Musetti had to retire, so Alcaraz kind of coasts in, even though he struggled early in that one. So what's been the handle like, and what are the sharps liking at the French Open?
Yeah, I'm a huge tennis guy, so I've been waking up early to try to watch as much tennis as possible. I was up this morning watching that Alcaraz match. From a booking perspective, we don't get as much handle on tennis as I'd love. But from a futures perspective, we're a pretty big winner on both Djokovic or Sinner. And then we're about break even on Alcaraz. He's been a popular bet this tournament. We're rooting for Coco and the women's side of the draw. There's been not a ton of action on that match so far, but future pool wise, we're rooting for Coco. And that's another one where we're basically break even on Sabalenka.
Awesome. Andrew, thank you for taking time out of your day to join us. Tell everyone what you have up and what are you guys doing for UFC 316 there?
Yeah, so we got all the, method of victories, everything up for the UFC 316 really early. But we're going to probably do some reduced juice on the main event. I don't know if we'll be able to get reduced juice on that co-main because it might be like an $8 price tag. But yeah, if you're in Vegas, come take a look at the SuperBook. We got really fair limits and, fair splits on these fights and these playoff sports going on. So yeah, it's a good book to add to your profile for sure.
Awesome. Andrew Babakitis, thank you so much. Good luck. As myself, listen, I've got some parlays with some big favorites, so I'm hoping some of them come through for us. So we're gonna be sweating some of those out. I'm sure Andrew and Art are going to be as well. All right, Dan, let's break down the Seattle Seahawks. Let us know in the comment section in the chat who you got. Seattle Seahawks season win total over or under 7.5. So Dan, Geno Smith is out. Sam Darnold is in. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett out. Cooper Kupp in. They re-signed. We got Jordan Reed was re-signed. They got Ernest Jones. I got Josh Jones. What was your initial take on this line here before we go through the schedule?
Yeah, I mean, and folks, make sure you're watching live or on the rewatch. Hit that like button, and if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed. But for me, Andy, this is what, the 5th or 6th team that we've done thus far. This is the first one that I would say, why bet this, right? Like, is there a team that has a different look than the Seattle Seahawks, heading into this year? Maybe one or two teams, but this is a team that anything that you learned about Mike Macdonald's team in year one, you have to throw it out the window. This is so you can't extrapolate year over year. And honestly, I don't think Mike Macdonald is that great of a head coach in game. I mean, he's definitely maximizing what he does with his players. The fact that they got 10 wins last year in his first year was a major sign. And I feel like maybe there was a little bit of a hairpin trigger on the decisions that they made in the offseason, because sure, they missed the playoffs, but they got double-digit wins in a head coach's first season with a roster that's kind of just a bunch of guys who couldn't really make it elsewhere or at least have produced for the Seahawks. So completely blowing it up and bringing in Sam Darnold, who turned into the pumpkin that we all thought he would at the end of last year. Do we get good Sam Darnold, or do we get jack-o'-lantern Sam Darnold? That's a question you cannot answer with a new team. I mean, he definitely has talent around him. Jackson Smith and Jigba took that huge step forward. He was their leading receiver last year, but a lot of that was because him and Geno Smith had a full year under their belt to get a little bit more chemistry, find what his role is. So does he take a back seat? You know, how much of DK Metcalf not taking out the top of the defense? Sure, Cooper Kupp is a great receiver, but he's not a take the top off of the defense, right? He's get 7 or 8 catches across the middle and end up with over 150 yards. That's what Cooper Kupp does. So, you know, some positives, Andy. Top 5 in positive rest differential. So they have some good spots, but you look at the teams they have to play. This isn't a particularly easy schedule. So 7.5 wins, sure. I just don't know how out of all the teams that we talked about, Andy, this is one that you cross off the list. If you're in a contest, you have to pick them. For me, lean over. But it's hard for me to even have a lean for this team who you do not know what they will look like. So this would be see how they look out of the gate against these tough teams they have to play, and then look at what the in-season number is and then attack it that way. Or look at player props early in the season-long player props that you could look at. For me, you can't bet this team until you see what they actually are.
Well, that's just a lame take for a show, Dan.
It is a lame take. It is a lame take.
I'm planting my flag. I do have a strong take on this one.
What do
go
you
over their
think?
schedule. Well, let's go over their schedule, and I'll walk you through this one. So they start off home 49ers, at Steelers. Then it gets easy. Home Saints, at Cardinals, home Buccaneers. That's not easy. At Jags, who knows? Home Texans, who knows? And they get the bye. At Commanders, that's tough. Home Cardinals, who knows? At Rams, who knows? At Titans, they should be better than the Titans. Home Vikings, that's a fun game. At Falcons, home Colts, home Rams, at Panthers, at 49ers. Here's what's not baked into the line. Cooper Kupp had magic with Stafford and McVay, right? That's gone. He's not going to have that same chemistry. And like you said, Geno Smith had that chemistry with Jackson Smith and Jimmy. That's gone. I think they took some of the magic away from some of these matchups here. This is an easy under for me. I don't buy into this team at all. Are you kidding me?
Even when you were running down the schedule, you say, oh, well, this game's a toss-up. Well, this game's a toss-up. Well, this game's a toss-up. There's so many of those on the schedule, dude, that this is just a coin flip season. It's a coin flip schedule. It's a coin flip. What type of players do you get? Who knows how long Sam Darnold even plays? What's the over-under on how many games Jalen Milroe starts? Like, you can't handicap this team. So that's why, okay, sure, when you look at it from that lens, I could say easy. I don't know, Andy. Easy is strong. All right. The chat agrees with you, man. We got the strategist. He's under. Drew Grigo under. Comment below. Let us know what you think. I mean, this team overexceeded last year as expectations and got 10 wins. And then you drop them down 3 because Geno Smith is gone, because DK Metcalf is gone.
And how many games is Cooper Kupp going to play?
That's a good point.
I just see trouble all over the place. And Darnold was great at Minnesota with one of the best offensive minds in the league. Also going to Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, but then he reverted. You know what I mean? They also had a stellar defense there. So I don't know, man. This one's really tough for me. Comment below and let us know. Over under. Right. Andy says easy under. I say your guess is as good as freaking mine. That's what I say on the Seattle
undecided. Dan is an official undecided.
I'm abstaining. Undecided. I've recused myself from the vote, Andy.
All right, I'm going easy under on the Seahawks.
All right, easy under.
All right, guys, let us know what team you want us to do next. But we are out of time. Dan, awesome job. Thank you so much. Lacrosse plays are up for all access clients. We've got a couple of official ones. And there's your Seahawks breakdown. All right, guys, we're done here. Again, 4% cricket play goes off in about 30 minutes. If you want to flash play in the afternoon, grab that. It's a 4% best bet. We're on a 14-4 run in cricket. Most important, UFC 5% pack. 3 plays included. One of them is a plus 154. I know you guys love those plus money plays. Number 1 in MMA profits. So let's lock in. Let's have a great weekend. And remember, we're always going to bet responsible. We want to show up Monday with our bankrolls a little bit bigger than they were today. So we do that by betting responsibly and let's have a great weekend and come back and do this again Monday. Thanks so much for joining us. Hit the like button and subscribe. Good luck on your bets, and take care.